Hey everyone, I'm your host, Natalie Bode. On the show today is a viral content creator known for his vlogs, prank videos, and flashy lifestyle content. Please welcome the one and only CJ So Cool to the show.
This CPT exclusive interview is a deep dive into CJ So Cool's world. So whatever you ask me, I'm open.
You don't really do podcasts though.
I never do. That's why I'm ready. I'm like, let's just do it.
Why is that though? You do every other type of content. It's not for you, or?
Podcasts, I don't want to say anything bad about podcasts because a lot of people watch them. They do generate views, but I think it's just awkward that I've already been doing this. I've always sat at home and recorded myself. I call it confessionals. People call it podcasts. It's just like, why are we doing something new that already existed? It's not new. That's why I don't really do them. I just do my own thing.
No, I see your perspective on that. And you, to your point, you've built such a big audience. You've been doing this longer than anyone even really knew it existed.
Yeah.
So I want you to take me back. We talked about Gary, Indiana. I've never met anyone with a following like yours from a place like that. I had to look at it on a map. Is it right by Lake Michigan?
Yeah, it is. We have Lake Michigan. That's our beach. And it's not good. It's not like, oh, I grew up around the beach. No. I grew up like, I don't want to talk bad about my city, but it is what it is. I mean, it's just a polluted place. The steel mill factories, they're blowing chemicals every day. So I grew up, and my normal life was like pollution. And I thought that was the world. And then as a young adult, I moved to Las Vegas and saw that it was a bigger world than I was accustomed to. And that's what kind of changed my life and my DNA, because my family history is very short. There was nothing glitz or glamorous about us. Nobody graduated high school, went to college. I was the first, actually, to graduate high school and go to college. And then that didn't work for me, so I ended up going to the Navy, and that didn't work, so I ended up doing dealing. I became a casino craps dealer and blackjack dealer in Gary. So I learned this craft there and brought it to Las Vegas, the mecca of gambling, right? And I became so good at it. But then I found out about the internet, thanks to my little brother. He was doing this in like 2013, 2014. I didn't know what YouTube was. I thought it was a place to like learn how to do things and watch music videos. And one day my little brother says, come up here, man, do this video. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do no video with you. That sounds weird. And then I go up there and he's like watching World Star Hip Hop, Vines, and he's reacting. And I just subconsciously start laughing, and I don't realize he's screen recording me. And it was like, he kind of had this video without my permission. And then the next day he's like, CJ, wake up, please. I'm like, what the frick, I gotta go to work later, man. I'm a regular individual. I literally pay taxes, human being. Like, it was weird. And he wakes me up, I go in his room, and I have like 7 million views in one day.
Wow.
And all the comments are just flooding. Your brother CJ is so cool. Man, that dude is so cool. Man, your brother CJ is cool. And I was like, wow, that sounds like a cool name. And that's how I got my name. That's how I started YouTube. And that's how I ended up here at the CPT podcast.
So tell me this. So you're watching this video with him. Is this Vine?
Yes.
At the time?
It was like a fight video where they're like on World Star, like, World Star! And I'm just laughing like, oh, we got knocked out. Oh, did you see that? And he's always laughing. I would just hear him in his room with the door closed just laughing all day. I didn't know what he was doing. I was just like, yo, my little brother's weird. And then when I'm in there, now I'm over laughing him, and it's just like, I don't watch this stuff. So it was actually funny to me. And even though it was funny to him too, I knew it was his job to do it, because I was like, oh, this makes sense. This is what you do. Oh, this is easy. And yeah, the comments, they just like sparked a new interest. I didn't want to be a YouTuber. I was fine living the life that I had already.
Based off what you told me, what I sense is that you've always had vision. Because even when you talked about growing up in Indiana, you were the first person from your family to graduate high school and college.
Yeah.
So what was it inside of you that you felt like, this is something that hasn't been done, but I can be the first to do it?
You're a great question asker. Wow, that just blew me, because I've never been asked that before. But as you asked it, I started to think, what is it? Why am I like this?
That takes a lot, especially if your whole family hasn't. Like, I could see there being some repercussions. Like, who do you think you are? None of us have done this. Why do you need to?
Yeah, no, my family used to say, you better not move to Las Vegas. What's wrong with you? You're not going to make it. You're not going to be famous. What's a YouTube star? I think what it really was as a young kid, people used to tell me I looked like Nelly. And I don't know if you know who that is. He's a rapper.
Course.
Okay, so you know Nelly, right? Of course. I didn't have hair, so I actually believed it myself. And I used to think to myself, if he could be this and I look like him, then I must be this too. Just a younger version, right? And I just think that carried over into now, that confidence of people just telling me. I would just be minding my business. Hey, you know you look like Nelly? And I'd be like, oh. And sometimes it would be, hey, you know who you look like? And I would finish it for them, Nelly. And they're like, yeah. And I just like, wow, this is so cool that I'm a celebrity, but I don't have any substance. I don't do anything. So once this YouTube stuff happened, I just choke coded. I was like, I'm not letting go. This is easy. This is fun. And they always say, if you're having fun making money, then that's what you should keep doing.
You've got the personality for it, so it makes sense to me. I also could see you being like the most fun dealer at any table.
Wow.
How does that happen when you're living in Gary? Like, at what point do you decide, all right, I'm going to do this to make some extra money, and why did you choose that?
I didn't want to talk about that, but it's okay.
Oh, we don't have to go into it, but now I'm intrigued.
I told you, I gave you the green light. I had my first kid. At first, I was just like living life, going here, there. Hey, you got $200, baby. You look good. Let's just pay my phone bill for me. I was just going through life without a care. I didn't know what I was doing. And this girl, she texted me, I'm pregnant. And of course, I called her, you're lying. And then like the months went past, and then I saw her, and she actually was pregnant. And that's when I kind of like buckled down and said, maybe I should be an adult. I'm like 23. You know, I made the mistake. Now it's time to own it. And that's when I went and took this course. I started looking online for jobs in Gary. It wasn't that many. And I saw that you can go take a dealer class for 8 weeks and learn how to be a blackjack dealer. It sounded professional, and I just knew that I was a people person, so I didn't mind taking that on after I had the kid. Mm-hmm. Before having a kid, I didn't want to work. I didn't care about money. I was just basically a bum. But I had a nice car. I had a nice old school, I painted it like blue and yellow and put SpongeBob themed decals all over it. And the city loved me. So I didn't need a job. I looked rich to the other poor people in my city.
How'd you get this car if you were a bum, to use your word?
I went to college, and back when I was a kid, I didn't understand. Like, I should have taken college more serious, but I took college as a ATM. Like, oh, don't you know you can get a financial aid grant and a loan and spend it on whatever you want? So I was doing that. I built my car off the school's money.
I will say this, though. You had some savvy to you. You had some like hustle and some business savvy to even think that way at that time. Like people were probably blowing that money at a bar, and you actually used it, even though it was for your image. Like you used that as something that could actually get you something, whether it be recognition or whatever it was. You had the vision for that.
Wow. The way you think.
Is that how you were kind of thinking at the time? I mean, at the moment,
I don't even know if I was. Cool. I just think I was just trying my hardest to look like Nelly, and yeah, I guess I was marketing. I was just like, as long as I look rich, then people will accept me. Yeah.
You got it even then, and that's something that I'm sure you carried into YouTube too. So at what point you have a kid, you're like, all right, I got to buckle down, I got to make money, I have to support this child. When do you actually move and start creating content? How old were you then?
I was 23 when she got pregnant, 24 when she was born. I was 26 when I posted my first YouTube video. So June 15th, 2015, I posted my first video. My kid was 4 years old at the time. She was born November 6, 2011. So yeah. It took me almost 4 whole years to become a social media influencer after having a kid. But during that time of having the kid, I already had a good job. I moved from Gary to Vegas working that same career, and then I became this YouTuber. So my kid has only known me to be a supportive dad. I really wasn't there for 2 years because I didn't automatically become a YouTuber. I was working, like I said, at the casino, but it wasn't enough to be rich and spending money on bills and sending money back. But I was doing what I could. But the moment I became a YouTuber, I sent for my kid, and I embedded her in the content as well. And then I was able to see, hold on, it's not just me. It's something in my DNA, and this kid is a star too. So it just kept getting bigger, and it never stopped.
What was the decision like to leave your child behind in Indiana and move across the country?
You got tea?
Tea?
Yeah, do you have any tea?
Like actual tea? We might.
Like let's sip some tea.
You want to just sip it?
I'm going to give you some tea. I just wanted to know if you had a cup.
No, I need you to metaphorically and through your words create the tea.
Can you ask me that question one more time?
Yeah. What was it like to move across the country to support your child and
really hurt.
Be away from them?
It hurt a lot. First, I don't want to lie and seem all tough. Like, oh, I just did what I had to do. No, it hurt because I never had a kid, and even though the girl and we weren't really like in a relationship, it just happened. I kind of started to like her because that situation with us having a child made me more mature. It made me seek a job, and it made me become a man. So when I left, I left because we weren't going in the right direction. We were cheating on each other. We were just young, and I was very heartbroken. So I left, and I moved out to Las Vegas with another woman, and I had to hide my lifestyle. I had to make it seem like I was doing good on my own, and I'm posting on social media, but there's no girl. You can't see anything. You just see me in this nice condo, and you're like, how is he doing this? And then eventually, the mother of my child found out, and she was like, she hated me, of course. So they began to argue online, and that was my first drama days, because now I'm like a drama king. If you go to my page, it's just like so much drama. But it already started way back then, so I lied, and I told her I moved on to Las Vegas to become a better person, which eventually happened, but really I was just out here with the woman. So it was very hard to leave my kid. And that's why as soon as I came across any money, I sent for her to come back. So
I feel like a lot of people sometimes probably can't look past the drama in your life, but what I hear from that is you stepped up to actually be a dad and support your kid, and there's a lot of people who won't do that. So have you ever like reflected on that and just thought to yourself, like, this is something I did, and even though it helped me, like, this was for my child? There's a lot of people who won't.
I think I told my daughter that. She's 13 now, so I can actually have a grown-up conversation with her. And I think I've told her that because sometimes her mom can subconsciously, accidentally bring it up. Like, well, don't forget you left. And it's almost like as if she's using it to get more from me, which is not in a bad way. I don't want to make it seem like she's a user. She earned it. She took care of my kid. I left. There was time that I didn't help. And but sometimes she's just like, don't forget I was the one that held it down. I'm like, okay, here's a new car. Okay, here's $15,000. I'm sorry. You're right. And then I have to tell my daughter, I did leave you, but I never left you. I was always there. If anything happened, I was going to be the one to help. So I like the way your perspective is because honestly, it makes me feel way better. I didn't come in here like with this energy about my past, and now you're kind of like reshaping my own thoughts on the way I did things because I looked at it bad. Like, oh, I'm terrible. I left my kid, and now people think she's grown acting. Maybe it's because I wasn't there, but now I don't have to think like that.
I mean, it'd be great if we could all have two parents that lived in one house, more supportive, and that always happened. But I'm from a mixed family too. My parents got divorced, so I understand those conversations happen, that stuff happens. But you always supported your child financially, and that's some people don't understand that even that.
You're right.
Yeah, even
W's in the chat.
Even that is big. But all right, so you're in Vegas. You started your channel. From the day you posted a video to when you actually could make a full-time income off of that, how long was that time span?
It was the first day.
Oh, so you are making money.
Because my brother, remember?
He had the strategy, but you had to start from scratch, right?
No, because my first video was on his page. It got 7 million views, so people were like anticipating me to drop. So my first video was with my brother, so it was like a collab. He had 1 million subscribers already. That was major in 2015. Like no one really knew how he did that. So I didn't start from scratch. I just don't want to be that guy that lies. So my first video got like 700,000 views. It paid like $7,000 the first day. So.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's cool for your brother to put you on it in that way. But when you see $7,000 off that video, you're like, am I about to go to the casino?
No, I asked my
quit?
no, I didn't do that. I was like, yo, bro, is this a glitch? And he's like, yeah, that's a glitch. It's fake. You can't get that much money that's fast, trust me. And then when I got paid for the whole month, it was like 80K. And he's like, I don't know how you did it. It actually caused some tension between me and my little brother.
Really?
Because he had
Did you
already
outperform him early and that was kind of pissing him off, basically?
I think so. But I always talked to him. Well, back then I tried to talk to him about it, but I'm like 3 to 4 years older than him, so it's kind of like a hard conversation to have. But he definitely started the YouTube. He was the pioneer. I had no idea. I didn't want to do it. He made me do it, and then I just put my energy into what he taught me, and then I just, I did whatever. I didn't do anything. The viewers did it. The algorithm, they are the only ones that can say if it's a W or an L. So my brother and I, we still cool right now, but I just think that we should be a lot more cooler given the history. Like, you put me on, and I'm this guy. You should want to be around me forever.
And you had a natural talent for it that obviously took on a life of its own. You mentioned the drama. When did that start being part of the content? Sounds like it just happened naturally.
Yeah, it was my oldest daughter, Kamari's mom. It was her. She didn't know how to be a social media influencer, but she went live on Facebook, and she was offended by something I said in the video or something my ex did to our kid in the video, and she went live. She didn't make no money off of it, and I looked at this video because fans are sending it to me, and I'm like, I should do that, but I would get paid. And I told my girl at the time, I was like, let's get our best clothes on and let's do a podcast. That's what we did. We sat in our living room, we put a camera in front of us, and we just talked. It was a confessional. That's what I told you earlier. Why would I do a podcast when I could just set up my own camera and do a video? A podcast, this is a cool environment though. As this goes on, I'm thinking this is cool. I mean, it's comfy, it's strategic, it's not like rambling. But my videos are more like not strategic, rambling. Sometimes I'm not even comfortable. I'm just like, let me get this video out. But 2016, I posted my first diss video, and that's when the drama started. So it's been going on for 9 years.
Was there part of you that ever thought before you put that video out, like, I want to separate my personal life and my content life, or was there always going to be a blend for you?
Even before I was an influencer, I was always putting my private life online. So I always thought that is my content. I don't do anything for content, so I just live and record my life, and that's why I call it lifestyle content.
So is there ever a moment where you're like, I wish I could trade some of this for my privacy back? Because I would naturally start thinking that way. I know that you've made money off it. It's become your lifestyle. But you get recognized. There's other things that can happen because of it. Would you ever trade it for privacy?
What am I? Oh, yeah, for privacy. But only getting privacy, or am I still rich?
I mean, I guess if you're rich off it would have to be a different style of content, which you could, of course, pivot and do.
Wish. I said that on Instagram the other day on the story. I said, my life would probably be better if my personal life was separate. I literally posted that. That's crazy. You must have dug in. You did your due diligence.
I didn't hear you say that, but I've
it wasn't me talking.
I
typed it. I posted a picture and typed a caption and was like, I wonder if my life would be better if my personal life was personal and all you guys saw was content. Like, you just saw the good version of me. You didn't know who my girl or ex was or who my kid was. You didn't know anything, but I didn't catch on to that early, so now I'm kind of like, I'm stuck. I'm just going to keep posting my whole life. I don't really care.
There's an appetite, though, for people want the drama.
Yeah,
people want to hear about your life at this point.
Not everybody. Some people might look at it as distasteful, but like you said, there's someone that literally lives for that. Like, oh my God, he posted a drama video. I have to see his perspective. He's right or he's wrong or I hate him or I love him. And I don't see none of that. I just say ching. That's all I say. Because there was like a year and a half where I didn't post any videos because I was battling in court, winning the rights for my twins. And that took me like super down drama lane. And I'd like to sprinkle it in, kind of like what you said, but I don't want my whole life to just be looking like it's just drama. And that is what happened. For like a year and a half, my whole life was only drama. I couldn't wake up without that feeling, that low vibration feeling. And I didn't want to create content because the content was going to be low vibrational. And even though we just agreed, people still like it.
Yeah.
I just didn't want that to be the only thing that I showed. So
there's
I took a
people
long
out
break.
there, they like to see misery too. And like you don't want people cheering when you're down.
Yes.
I totally understand that. During that break, your life had only been content up to that point once you started to make a career out of it, right? So what were you reflecting on during that time? Did you learn anything during the break?
I would never lie. It just sucks. It sucks. It's like I have this condition where I have to tell the truth. I didn't learn anything. I could have learned another language. I could have learned how to do taxes for people. I could have became a teacher.
Even from a reflection standpoint, though, when you stepped away.
I was playing the game. I was eating.
I respect the truth. I
was
really
playing
do.
with my kids, but I was more like, I was the type of depression that you just don't want to live. So I was kind of like, I don't know, I had got shot in too. I had got shot before, and that kind of was still playing on my mind, but it was just, everything was just attacking me too much, and I'm only like a human, but.
How are you doing now, by the way?
Now I have new people around me, and I just, like, every day, if I say something, every day, you should move in my house, actually. Every time I wake up,
but I appreciate the offer.
I talk, and there's just gold coming out of my mouth every day. And now I have the type of people that's like, well, let's do it. Let's act on it. Let's shoot every shot. In the past, it would be like, I would say something, and you said something like this earlier, your family, even your closest people, they're like, no, I don't think you should do that. I don't think you should get money. That's all I hear, really. And so now the new me is just, let's be active. I wasn't even supposed to be here because I don't do podcasts, but now I want to be active because my new friend, he's like, yo, you should do everything. It doesn't matter. And he's right.
It sounds like you got around people who don't have a limited mindset, that actually like have an abundance mindset, and they want to see you reach new heights that you haven't. Yes.
He's on that NTZ pill from Limitless. So I'm naturally like that. I just keep going. But this guy, he's like, he did the NTZ. Have you seen Limitless?
I don't think I have. But I think I know what you're talking about because I've just seen it. Like, people meme it and they talk about.
It's definitely memeable. That's why I just tried to meme it, but it's okay.
I've seen it on the internet. I'll look it up later. I'll educate myself for you on that one. But whenever you were talking about how you got shot, I don't want to talk too much about that because you mentioned low vibration. I don't want to bring you back to that place. But when I saw that before this interview, I was feeling for you because it's your career to put yourself out there. But that inevitably has to come with some privacy concerns. Yeah. And I'm sure after it happened, one of your first thoughts had to have been, this is because my life is online.
Yeah. Technically, that was the only reason. I didn't know them. They didn't know me. It was just every video is online. So you have a blueprint to my house. And then my editor at the time, he posted a clip, which I asked him to delete, which was my address. And it was me saying, like verbally saying my address.
That got posted online?
And screen recorded and posted on TikTok. And then another guy screen recorded the bird's eye view of my house, showing the whole neighborhood and how to get in, to break in without using the interest. And 2 weeks later, my house got broken into.
Yeah. Do you still use that same editor?
No. I took my car back from him. I fired him. I cut off the debit cards, the credit cards. He's gone.
Was there a moment after that where you thought, I don't want to make content anymore? Because I feel like that
That's
would
what I
just
told
put
you.
me
I
out
went
of the
through
game.
that depression. I was
Yeah.
like, I'll just play the game. I don't want to post. I had so much money,
Right.
but I didn't understand that even though CJ So Cool stopped posting, he was still CJ So Cool. So I was still spending like rapidly, but I wasn't posting anything. So that I was rich, depressed. That's a different. Like, I don't know the other type of depression where people, kill themselves or whatever. I didn't go through that. I went through a let me spend all of my money type of depression. I can't run out of money. I don't need to work anymore. I'm rich. And then it was like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe I should work. So, yeah.
What do you think is something people don't know about you just from your online persona? Because sitting here talking to you, I'm like, you have a lot more to you than I feel like people don't give you credit for.
There's a lot of people don't know about me, actually.
They think they do, though, I'm sure.
Yeah, they know
'Cause you're always
everything
online.
that they see, which is only what I show. I mean, it's like saying you know my body. You don't know my body. I have them close. So the main thing I can think of is probably they don't know how good of a friend I am. Like, honest to God, I know that you're not supposed to talk good about yourself. You're supposed to let someone else do this. But me personally, I've seen friendships and I've seen other people through my perspective, of course. And I just always feel like I'm just such a great friend. Like, I wish I can find everyone like me and then we could just form this group. We would be like AMP or that's the type of friends that I am. Like, they're all good friends. They boost each other. They help each other. I'm like that to everyone.
Do you ever go back and visit your hometown?
Yeah.
Is your family still there?
My grandma, she still is there. My brothers, they both live in Las Vegas.
Do you ever just look around and think, why am I in this position when other people here aren't in this position? Like, what makes me have this potential? Why did I get to live it out?
It's that Nelly situation. Ever since I was a kid, no one's stopping me. But people try to jump me, bully me, tell me I ain't going nowhere. When you're in that city, no one believes in anything. So, I've always had a rough time growing up and thinking that I could even believe I would be someone. But for some reason, I remember myself always saying, I'm going to be a rich basketball player. I used to say that. I'm going to be a rich basketball player. I'm going to be famous. And it ended up being through social media, but I definitely got NBA money. So it's just the same thing.
It's crazy you say that because when I was a kid, I had a teacher who sat me on a stool in second grade and wanted me to read the book to the class because she told me I had a good voice and I was a good speaker. And it was that moment that gave me that subconscious belief, I'm good at speaking, I'm good at talking, and then I go on to pursue a career in broadcasting. So I feel like when you're a kid, those impressions of this is who I am, people think I'm somebody famous, I can be famous.
Yeah.
We don't give that enough credit, but your story, that made me realize that. It's like at that age, kids are so impressionable to everything being said to them.
What grade were you in when that happened?
Second grade.
That's crazy. In elementary, they had an audition for kids to sing the Lift Evan Voice and Sing every morning, but I won. So every morning I got to skip the class, the first hour, not the whole hour, but the beginning of the class to sing on the mic. So every class had to hear She Just So Cool singing, lift every voice.
Oh, you could
all
sing.
day, every day, right? And then the principal, one day, she came to my class and she pulled me out and she used to walk around with these rulers to whip people with. This is back when you get paddles at school, easy.
I had corporal punishment too.
That's what it's called?
Yeah, that's a whole other. Go on.
Corporal
We got to talk about that. Go on.
So listen, this principal, she's like, you're going to do this play and you're going to be the bookworm and you're going to be Martin Luther King, you're going to be Michael Jackson. I'm just like, what did I do? I'm just getting hit and all this with all this stuff. And she's basically did what your teacher did. She told me, you are special. You're the very special kid in the school. You're him. And I was like, wow. So I did every single play. I was the star in every play. I memorized all the roles. I wore all the costumes. And, people were like, oh, he's lame. He's a teacher's pet. And I didn't even care. I would laugh with them like, and you're dirty. Whatever. I was good at making fun of people because I always got made fun of. And it was just that's who I still am to this day. I'm still going to take that lead position. I don't care.
That's amazing. She spoke that over you.
Yeah.
We got to talk about the getting
Miss
paddled
Washington.
at school, though.
Oh, yeah.
What was her name? You can shout her out.
I think it was Miss Washington. I'm trying to think. She was a principal. I think it was Miss Washington.
Okay.
Honestly.
Shout out Miss Washington.
She's not here today.
Oh, rest in peace.
Yeah,
Her friends
I
and
was
family.
elementary. I'm 36.
Okay. She was a lovely woman.
Yes, most definitely.
Rest in power. Did she do the paddling back in the day?
Yeah, she walked with that. But no, she did the hand paddles because she was the
Okay.
principal. Your teachers paddled you.
So you had a paddle in the classroom?
Yeah, like the big old wooden one. Most of our teachers, they went and pledged in college, so they would bring
Yeah.
their sorority paddles and yeah.
This is wild for me to hear because I grew up in rural Texas. So I look back on, I'm like, I could see that happening in the state I grew up. And we had to have a witness in the room. Your
What?
parents had to sign off on you getting paddled. There had to be a witness in the room. But you were in Indiana.
Yeah, they didn't do that.
And
My
they had
mom was
paddles
not
in the
there.
class?
They take you out of the class in the hallway and whip you, but it's so loud, it's echoing through the empty halls. Like it was definitely an experience. And I remember going to college trying to pledge Kappa, and they're like, get in the cut. I'm like, what's the cut? I'm looking around and everybody's like doing this. I'm like, I'm not getting paddle. I've been through that. No, I'm good.
You were scarred.
Yeah, so I couldn't even pledge because I was like, no, this is too traumatic for me. I'm not getting SWATs anymore.
You ever think back on that and you're just like, how'd they get away with it? That's crazy.
I think back on everything, and I don't even think about how to get away with it. I think about how did society get away from what we already were. We should still be getting whoopings in school. These kids are just walking around being grown. Like, it's not even fair. They do things I seen a kid vaping. I drove past the school. School was out. It's all kids walking, and I just see smoke clouds, and it's not cool anymore. Like, school is like, it's like prison almost. It's not the same.
You mentioned having children. What are the ages of your kids?
My kids are 5. They're twins, and then my oldest is 13. So I have 3 kids.
How do you deal with that in this new generation? Because when I didn't know what a vape was until I went to college. I'm a little younger than you, but I didn't even see that. Yeah. And I realized I might have been sheltered because I was in a small town. But kids are growing up faster these days. I will stand by that. I think that's true.
It is true.
How do you prevent it? What's your outlook on raising them in this society with internet? You're obviously involved in the internet. You know how it is out there.
I suck, yeah. My daughter, she's 13. She's always getting clips. She's always doing something. And they're like, she's grown. And I'm just like, freak. But I know that with all this access, it's unbelievably hard to just not fall in or give in to whatever she does. But my kid, she's special, so I gotta let her do what she does. She's a star. She's like me. If you try to like house her and like box her in, she's just gonna get even worse. So you just gotta kind of go with the flow and just let her learn who she is. But my twins, they're cooked because like they grew up on the iPhones and the iPads, so they're already seeing stuff. I can't really watch everything, so I don't really know what I'm gonna do. I'm living every day for that day. I don't know about the future yet.
So when it comes to parenting your 13-year-old, even your twins, I'm sure you get so many opinions online, and you probably always have. But how have you dealt with that? Now it might be you're numb to it, but I can imagine at the beginning when people are saying anything and everything about your life, I would get frustrated reading them.
Yeah, it's been times where, actually, YouTube went through a phase where they stopped any family channels from getting comments. So YouTube kind of helped me for like 3 years. Well, I didn't even get one comment at all. I was getting millions of views with no comments. So you're right. People will say anything in the comment section, even if they don't mean it. And sometimes like I can bring it to my household, and I don't like that. I don't like taking someone else's opinion, and then now I'm telling my kids that, but that's not who I am. So it is a bad thing. And I just, over time, like you said, I've gotten numb to it where I'm just like, I'm not listening to you.
No, it's something you don't even think about. It's just automatic.
Yeah. I like all of my comments, though. If you go through my comments, you'll see liked by a creator. So I see everything, and I used to hide them and block them and restrict them. Now I just skip them. I don't heart theirs. I just like, oh, that's bad. It's negative. I'm not going to remove you, though, because it's your opinion. And now I look at everyone as analytics. I don't really care about their opinion. I just look for the analytic.
You've been successful in content for a long time. I mean, over a decade on YouTube. A lot of creators stop. They can't evolve with it. How have you been able to evolve and still be so successful in that space?
I don't know. I just believe that, well, of course, if you're consistent, which I haven't really been as consistent as I can be. Now, different me. You got the best version of me today, because right on my way here, I post like 4 Instagram Reels, 50 Snapchats, about 7 Facebook videos, and a YouTube video. So now I'm just so active. But there's a time where I couldn't even be consistent. So me being here 10 plus years is still a shock to me. I look at it like, wow, I don't know how I did this. But also, I guess I just thought of it, the worst fear I have is the fear of being a has-been. Because I saw Nelly go through. I remember praising this guy, idolizing this guy. Then his tax information was public, and they're like, oh, he's broke, and no one liked him. And it was just like, I don't want that to be me. It's like, that's really hard to accept. When you have fans that turn into haters, it's like, ouch.
You mentioned that, and is it Drake that always says insecurity drives him, or the fear of becoming irrelevant eventually? That can be a lot of pressure, though. Yeah, and you mentioned how much you post in one day. Yeah.
And I'm going home to get way more posts out. Yeah.
Does that ever mount on you, and you just need a break?
I think I have ADHD. I've never been diagnosed. And if I'm not doing something, then I don't know what I'll be walking in circles. I told you, spitting out gold information. So being able to house that energy and use it, I think it's a blessing, honestly. Because I've seen people that act like me, but they don't produce anything.
You mentioned earlier, you said you had NBA money. And I was thinking, I'm like, from the start, when you got that first check, like $7K, at what point does the YouTube money, like, is there a subscriber threshold that it takes your life from point A to point B? Like, changes everything?
You can have 10 subscribers and make $1 million on YouTube. Because,
really?
Yeah, subscribers doesn't pay.
What is it it's a Google AdSense, right, that you can actually profit off of?
Ads. If they see your video, they might not like you, but they've already watched the video, which starts collecting ad revenue. So, yeah.
How do you think content has changed from when you first started?
Oh, that's a good question. Content has changed because now the kids don't have a long attention span, so they only watch short form style videos, and that doesn't pay as well. So I watched content change. And I remember when shorts first came out, I didn't use it at all. And YouTube kept emailing me saying, you might want to use this if you want to grow. We're not going to allow you to grow if you don't use this. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm still going to get money. And so content changed because the human brain changed.
I was talking to Frazier yesterday, and he was telling me that he thinks any YouTuber could do TikTok, but not every TikToker could do YouTube.
He's my guy. That was crazy. That's a good quote. I'm going to get that tattooed.
Do you agree with that?
TikTok, what? I could do that with my eyes closed, literally. I have a video with 15 million views with my eyes closed on TikTok. So TikTok is like, you don't have to be anyone to do that.
I really feel like people say TikTok pays, though. It doesn't pay like YouTube?
No, I'm not saying it doesn't pay, but I don't want to give out the sauce. Honestly, I'm not a gatekeeper. TikTok only pays if your video is over a minute. So everyone goes viral, but their videos are like 10 seconds, 12 seconds. They don't get anything. You can have 1 billion views on a 20-second video. You can have 1 trillion views on a 59-second video on TikTok and receive $0.
They changed that though recently.
No, they didn't.
The creator rewards part, it was Creator Fund. So Creator Fund, you only got paid if it was over a minute? Because I thought they changed that with this new program.
Oh, you saying you used to get paid from anything?
I don't know. I'm asking you that.
No,
it's always been a minute? Because I saw the rollout of the new program for the Minute Plus, but I didn't know.
Well, I've had TikTok since it was Musical.ly, and I remember like one of my accounts, right? I didn't know about the minute thing, so I was always going viral, but I wasn't getting money.
I didn't know it's always been that way.
Yeah, there's no way really to monetize it because it's not long enough. It's not anything. Wow.
So when all these people were going viral over COVID and...
Yeah. I mean, unless they caught on. Like Vine?
I would love Vine back.
I never posted Vine. Did you get paid from Vine?
Oh, no.
Oh, see,
I just like to watch it. It was like 6 seconds, right?
Yes, I love reacting to those videos. You're right, actually. That's how I blew up. That's how I blew up. And that was real acting and skits and dedication. Vine is harder to do than TikTok.
Because of the time constraints.
Yes, it's like, I only got 6 seconds, but it has to be so optimized. Like, you might get someone to do 60 clips in 6 seconds. That's a lot.
That's what I'm saying. And you talk about like having the TikTok brain, the short form, like that's what catches our attention. Yeah. There was an art to Vine because there had to be like a punchline. Yeah. You had to make somebody laugh within that time span.
It's not like that on TikTok.
No, but TikTok has good stuff. I mean, it can provide value, but.
Of course. No, I use TikTok. I'm not, if someone asks what do, I'm not going to say I'm a TikToker because I just generated 50 million views in 3 days. I'm not even going to tell them about TikTok. It's just something I use to make sure that another platform remembers who I am. Most of my TikTok comments say things like, I forgot about you, man. Oh my God, I used to watch you in 2017. You're still here? And I'm like, what? This is like a whole other planet on TikTok. So that's the only reason I do like it.
So you talked about, you just said Vine was partially how you blew up, but it was making the YouTube channel. Is that, how did Vine influence the channel on YouTube? Because that's two extremes.
I was reacting to the
Those
Vines.
are the reactions to Vine.
I was making my money by watching people that did Vines, but I only watched the best people, so it was like really good content, and I would just like extend it by adding more, and of course my reaction.
You think it was harder back then to become a creator, like 10 years ago, or do you think it's harder now? It seems so saturated.
It's very saturated. I've used that word a lot. I used to say things like, man, I miss when I was the only guy doing this, because now it's like, I know where I messed up. I watch people like Speed, and I don't watch him. I mean, I see people like Speed, and I see his way of life, and it's actually, he's the greatest human to ever live. I think. Him and Mr. Beast, they're like this to each other because you don't see his money. He doesn't wear a designer. He wears the same clothes every day, the same little shoes. Like, he's just having fun, and he's not focused on his image, and he's just being himself organically and keeping all the money. Imagine not having to buy a big chain, big watches, and all this stuff because no one cares about that in reality. We think they do. So subconsciously, I put this pressure on myself. I can never speak for everyone. And I just started buying everything thinking that it's going to make people like me more when it actually made people turn on me. So speed is what I think I want to try to like become. I want to stop balling out to the public eye and just push content only.
What do you think it is about his content specifically that just captured the world? Because I feel like one day I didn't know about him, and then the next day I saw him everywhere.
It's the clips. All you need is a viral clip. I think he's done a lot of stuff, actually. They play around with I don't know how to word it because that word is like you should stay away from it. But they do things that boys shouldn't do, you know? And then, of course, they do fireworks stunts and blow up houses and get arrested. And I think it's just the clips. Like, when you see it all over your phone, you're like, who is this guy that got arrested for blowing up his apartment complex? What the freak? And it's just like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what's about him besides the fact that he is not an NPC. Most NPCs, they just, like, walk the straight and narrow. And he's just like, I'm doing what I want to do. I don't care. And that's how I am, too. It's like ADHD in the flesh.
So if you could give yourself advice when you first started in content based on what you know now, what would it be?
It would be the speed route. Save every dollar, look as poor as possible, go for sympathy, not for... Like,
that's hard to do though.
No,
if you have money all of a sudden, new money, I feel like that's hard with new money.
Don't record that. Go as soon as you're done with the content in your house, streaming or whatever, looking bummy, put on the designer and go outside, but no cameras. Like I get what you're saying. You have to have fun, but I don't think he's not having fun. I think he's just showing only enough to keep people interested and wanting more. And he's not turning anyone off. Like, okay, I think he's too rich. I don't like him anymore. Because that's how the fans are. They like you when you're down, but once you get up, it's like, ew, I can't relate to this guy anymore. He drives a Lamborghini. Like, you know?
There's something to that. Because people want to build you up and build you up.
Just so they can tear you
down. But then, exactly.
They want to be the first there, too.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I didn't think about it like that, but you put it in perspective. If you weren't a YouTuber, what do you think you would be doing right now?
I would be Nelly.
You kind of could sing earlier. I was going to tell you that.
I can sing for sure. I have music. I would send out music to Blake. He could be my manager. You know, Blake's going to be the president one day.
You said it first. So you would be a performer, musician.
Yes. I've went on tour before, 37 cities, and they were all sold out. And I was hoarse after every show. That's how much fun I had. So, like, that's, like, natural to me, just like YouTube is natural. I think entertainer. I would just be an entertainer. I would work at the casino. That was entertaining. Just, you know, when I go to the casino and I get these old dealers and they're just putting the cards down and taking or paying, I wasn't like that. I'm the dealer like, 21! And they're like, whoa, shoot! And they're tipping me because I have this energy and, like, you can't pay for that.
Do you still actively do a lot with music now? Are you going to pursue it more?
I bought a studio. I've spent like $40,000 on home studio equipment and I just record a lot. Yeah.
Where's all your music out?
It's on my phone.
Okay. Oh, so it's not out yet?
No, it's not out.
Because I was going to say, I told you I prepped for this interview and I wasn't fine. I saw the studio video.
I have songs that are out, though. Yeah, I have songs with hundreds of millions of streams.
But you're saving the rest.
I don't want to, but I prematurely signed this deal with this music company. Okay. I don't want to shout them out. Okay. And I found out that I became a statistic. You know, most people say, don't sign with the label. They'll shelf you. And yeah, they didn't shelf me, but they kind of like put timestamps on when I can post music. And it's like, okay, well, back then I didn't care because I wasn't being active. Yeah. And now I just dropped $40K on studio equipment. I need to post music. So I'm going to get out of that deal in May. And then you'll see a lot of music.
I feel like that would be hard, too, for you to be under management when you've done all of this on your own. You know how to market. You know how to make content. You already have an audience.
I just needed someone like you to say that because no one was around that was good for me. So they're just like, a music deal? You crazy? You need that. And
what were they actually providing you? And that's a serious question because I don't.
They gave me marketing dollars. That's it.
Okay.
I told you I went through a time of depression where I wasn't making money. I was just spending it. And I was just like, I'm not spending it on music. So they were like, we'll do it. But the way they set it up, it's janky. Music labels, they don't really tell you the truth. They're not up front. They just try to finesse you. And I didn't get finessed. I didn't lose anything. Right. But I didn't gain what I hoped I would gain. And it just looks to me like something petty and immature. Like this deal was like so petty.
I've enjoyed our conversation. I'm going to get you out of here with this. What is next for CJ So Cool? What can people expect from you?
Next is I'm going to go get my kids. I have to get them. Today is my day.
You do live day by day. You say you don't. I was asking about the future, but you live in the...
You try to test me.
No, I wasn't testing you. I was giving you a chance to shout anything out, but day by day.
I guess you're right. I should. Shout out to CPT. I will take over the next event I'm in. They're having an influencer event coming up soon, and I know I'm going to win. My last event, I was 4th place, and I was very unhappy with that. So
you did well. Yeah, I didn't know you were a dealer.
I'm going to do great, though.
You knew how to play, though, right?
Yeah, I'm a troll. I'm like, I don't know what to do. What should I do? And I'm looking at everyone's faces and they're scared. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just bet everything. And I'll just, whatever I did worked that day.
Well, I can't wait. Can't wait to watch you get back on the felt. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you for having me. I love you. Thank you so much.